Okay, so it's cozy and rainy, and I was trying to be fun and like film just a little bit of like my morning and how it's going. Pulled out my amazingly beautiful cup that I got a little bit ago and went to pour my coffee in, and there is a hole right here at the bottom. So I poured in the creamer and I saw a little on the like pad by the coffee pot, and I said, oh, did I spill? I didn't even realize that. Then I poured my coffee into it and it started shooting out the hole and all over. So yeah, I like showing fun little morning clips and stuff, but if you ever think it all goes perfect and dandy here all the time, it doesn't at all. Sometimes your fancy, cute, like $5 mug breaks and shoots coffee everywhere. But that's okay. Anyways, I thought it was funny. We're gonna give this mug a try. It looks pretty heavy duty. And come on, y'all, no matter what happens, things will work out. Much better.
This world is not my home, I'm just a passing through.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to my day. I have a cup of coffee now that doesn't have a hole in it, doesn't spring all over the place. Good morning. That's one way to wake up, right? When your coffee starts shooting everywhere. So, I am so excited. If you want to pour yourself a cup of coffee, make yourself a cup of tea, sit down and join me. I want to talk about preparing for needs. We'll talk about what I mean by that. When you have no money to do so, okay? Most of us, myself included, live paycheck to paycheck. If not, like, not even ends meeting paycheck to paycheck, right? When you get those gaps in between and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Most of us, myself included, do not have any emergency fund to speak of that would actually like do something helpful, okay? Most of us could not survive a month without getting anything from Amazon or your Walmart pickup or whatever store that you use, right? Most of us could not go 1 month completely contained in our home with nothing else coming in. Most of us probably couldn't even go a full week, 2 weeks, right? Like, let alone 6 months, a year. What if you lost your job? Your income just halt. What if there was a massive shortage? What if tariff war inflation just skyrockets things and you cannot afford them 3 months from today? What if some massive pandemic, something crazy happens again, like we saw in 2020, and everything shuts down, stuff isn't coming in, you can't get stuff? What if you wake up on just a normal morning and you find out that you have been hit by a historic hurricane that no one has ever seen, and literally your interstate has slid off the side of the mountain, nobody's getting in, nobody's getting out? What are you going to do? That was us here with Hurricane Helene last year. So like, these things are very, very fresh in my mind. I've been overwhelmed going, man, I don't even know where to begin, where to start. I don't have the money for that. What do I do? That's what today's video is. So get yourself something cozy to drink. Let's sit down. Let's dive through this. Let's work through it together and come up with a plan. If you don't think you have the extra money, you don't have the extra money, how do you start doing these things? Let's figure it out. Now, I know we're all going to say that there is no way we have any extra money, even $5 a week, to throw at this. I'm sure most of us probably think that. I want to refer you back to the video I put out on Thursday. Poo has just hit the fan. What do you do? This is what we're going to cover here today. Let's dig in. Talking about what to do when everything goes sideways and you don't know where to begin and how to make extra money kind of find its way and all of that. Because regardless of your situation, even if you don't lose a job, even if you can kind of keep up with the craziness of inflation and tariff trade war and all of that type of stuff, being able to work on the nest egg part of it is a big piece as well. And really, I think there's a big heart issue underlying all of this that we'll talk about probably next week. just with everything going on, I thought we should talk about this first. So definitely go and watch that video. I'll link it at the end or down below or whatever. And subscribe, turn on your little bell notification so you see these videos when they come out. But I think that's a big piece of it. So I think every single one of us could find a way to do these things that I'm going to suggest here today, because I've really been prayerfully mulling over this. And I'm like, okay, I don't have any extra money to put towards this. Like, we're really breaking about level right now. I don't know for any of you who are here in the area of Western North Carolina. Those of you probably don't know about this because nobody's probably talking about it. But our power company out here, I cannot stand our power company. I love their linemen. They were absolute angels. The work that they put in to get power back restored to us after Hurricane Helene, I couldn't sing their praises enough. The company in and of itself, Duke Energy, is so awful, and so many of us here are seeing massive spikes. Like, my power bill since Hurricane Helene has doubled. I mean, we went from like being right here to right here, and so any extra little wiggle room I had in my budget has disappeared overnight because we went through something horrific. They did get us power back on, and now we're paying for it. So gotta love that, when just them fixing their issue, that they have, that obviously they already have resources and stuff built into for. That's part of their job. I understand they went through something significant, but now it's us paying for it because our power bills are through the roof since the hurricane. And it's not just our house. On our local community board, people are talking about like crazy, and they're like, what is going on that they just jacked up our prices sky high? So my little extra that I normally have to put towards things like this does not exist right now. And so I am utilizing my own tips and tricks to go, where can I make a few extra bucks here, there, and over here, show up? Because with the cost of inflation, we're feeling it enough. It just, trying to make ends meet, seeing how much prices are going up. I sat down with my husband, I think this was a couple of years ago, and I was telling him how stressed I was trying to make our food bill, our food budget work. And he was like, I don't understand. Like, we eat the same things. We do the same stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but look at this. And we went through our list. Every item that we purchased had gone up $1 to $7. So then you add that up for, 30 items or whatever. And it was astronomical how much everything is costing now. And so we've continued to like pinch and squeeze and cut back and do all of that. But just keeping up with inflation is crazy. I will be honest and say that what happened with Hurricane Helene really has got me going, we need to be more prepared. This weather is only getting weirder and weirder and more unnatural, I think. Like, that's only increasing as we go on, and I think it's going to continue to. Our family, we usually purchase all that we need about a week at a time when it comes to food, toiletries and stuff. We usually have what we need about a month at a time, and I really don't keep much storage. And even with COVID and things went crazy, like, we did okay. We had to shift a couple things that we got, change the way we did stuff, but like, it wasn't that big of a deal. But with Hurricane Helene, it really, really got my attention, because not only did we get a storm that, like, the area out here had never, ever seen. It was actually kind of funny. We were watching the NASCAR race this past week, and one of the drivers, Greg Biffle, who was flying his own helicopter up here helping and rescuing people and getting supplies and doing stuff like that. Yes, we saw more response from NASCAR drivers than we did our government. That was fun. He was talking about how just insane, like, to anyone who has not seen firsthand what happened up here, the fact that the mountains of North Carolina were wiped out by a hurricane. I mean, it just made no sense. So I was not prepared for that. I had done like no preparation for that, because it was so, how could that happen? But it did happen. Our Interstate 40 literally in places fell off, like gone. The interstate didn't exist. Like, trucks could not get in, stuff. We had this big long period where things couldn't come in, and we still have some weird things that happen, even 6 months down the road. But it really, when we could make it to our local Walmart here in town was one of the only Walmarts in all the surrounding towns that was still open and available, because so many towns were literally like wiped off the map, that Ours was in the one that people stuck on the interstate were kind of staying at. People from other towns were coming to. I mean, it was really crazy. And it really was this, oh wow, I have to inventory what we have, what we need, but then what's even available. Because now even the big chains don't have the normal things. And so that's why I say all of this to say, I think that we need to set goals, every single one of us, regardless of what it is, regardless if it's just because of financial reasons you want to have stuff on hand, because weather stuff can happen, because job loss can happen, right? Whatever your reason is for wanting to start this, you can share your reason down below, because I think we can learn a lot from each other in this. And this isn't to make us scared or worried or have to like rush out and be hoarders. So please don't hear that in my message. It's just the reality of stuff happens. And I didn't like being caught with my pants down, for lack of a better term. I would like to set a goal and put away a week's worth of resources, and then grow that to maybe a month's worth of resources. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, right? Like, why would I not be a little proactive now when looking at the state of our world, be it weather, be it governmental, tariff, financial, whatever. Jobs are not secure. I mean, you look at what's going on with AI, and more jobs are only going to be replaced. I don't know, the Elon Musk, the robot things he's making, I don't remember what they're called, but I just see that movie with Will Smith from, what was it, like the early 2000s, I, Robot. That's what I see every time I see those things, and I'm like, do we not remember how that movie went? And now they're going to start rolling these things out everywhere. Anyways, getting sidetracked here, but this stuff is only going to continue to happen. And so I think we would be incredibly wise to look through these points that I have here, add your points down below. I'm certainly not end all be all here. And let's get to work and start making this happen practically, even for those of us that don't feel like we have the extra, anything to put towards this. I think we need to make it a priority. Now, in doing this, I want zero waste, okay? I don't have the extra money to just go drop $1,000 at a Costco and buy up all kinds of stuff. And I don't want big buckets of emergency food stuff that I'm not going to eat. I'm not saying I couldn't in a dire emergency, of course, but that's not going to be what I run to. I don't want to be wasteful in this. I want to be very, very thoughtful and intentional and practical in what I'm doing. And so I noticed this a lot with Hurricane Helene, when the Walmarts were getting bare, when stuff couldn't be replenished, when people were freaking out. You were seeing people grabbing all of these things that it kind of made me go, but are you going to use that? Do you actually need that? There are some things that they were putting out, and it was just like, I don't know. I think we need to be a little more thoughtful. And it was hard in the moment, I understand. But this is how I am plotting out how I'm going to start doing this. If you guys want to see me, I'll take you to the store with me and we'll do this together. If that could be a blessing for you, leave me a comment down below. Let me know. I will share with you step by step exactly what I'm doing to have a more prepared pantry. And if it can be a blessing for someone else, then we will absolutely do it. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, what do we eat? I usually pick up my groceries once a week. I've shared this before. We do a very simple menu plan. We eat a mainly carnivore, ketovore way of eating. I put in a grocery order and once a week I pick up my groceries. So I'm going, okay, what are things that we eat, if not regularly already, that we could eat or we could get canned, frozen, preserved to some degree? Obviously, frozen is difficult when you go for long stretches without power, as we did with the hurricane, because we had to start eating all that stuff up. So I don't want to just rely on one source. I want there to be, some of everything, so that way we have a good balance. But I'm looking at the things that we already eat and saying, okay, in my weekly grocery order, could I get 5 cans of something that we will eat? Is there anything that is on sale that I could buy an extra one of? We have a local grocery store, Ingles. I love Ingles so much. They're a little bit pricier. I can't shop there very often. But when their meat goes on sale, It is what is up. And so I will frequently pop in there because they have the best sales on sparkling water. I don't drink soda, I drink sparkling water. So I'll pop in there and get sparkling water. And I always check their meat aisle. And if any is on clearance, I will buy it up. And so that's something where I say, okay, can I set aside $20 a week to buy some extra? Maybe I can't get everything. That's fine. Could I set aside $5, $10, $20? Maybe you can set aside more. Okay, I probably couldn't do more than 20 to be honest. But let me start setting aside a little bit and just buying a little extra of something. Could I get if I'm getting on and I'm ordering some pasta, could I get a second box and put that away? Could I pick up 5 cans of something every week? We have a discount grocery store, Go Grocery, right? I could pop in there. They have stuff for dirt cheap. What are things that are shelf stable, especially meats, proteins, things like that my family will eat, that I can pick up and I can put on a shelf, and I could have something starting my prepared pantry, okay? So what do you eat though? Don't just go buy everything that you can find. If you're not going to eat it, don't buy it, okay? Like, I understand when push comes to shove, what we all eat will change. I get it. But starting off, I don't want to just buy up a bunch of stuff that my family, I know, like, it's going to have to be pretty far into a zombie apocalypse before they start eating that, okay? I'm just being honest. The second thing is, what do you use at home already? Okay. There is emergency stuff. There are, we have no power, and we can talk about that. I've talked about that before a little bit. We can talk about it some other time, but I'm talking about right now for getting started. If we want to be able to go a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, what are the things that we would need to have on hand? So what do you use around the home already that when you go to replace them or refill them this month, you could buy one extra? What I mean by that is, if you run out of a cleaner that you use, buy your replacement cleaner, but buy one extra. You go to refill, we get our like dishwasher detergent, right? We get it in like the big pack or whatever. Next time I have to buy one, why don't I just buy a second one? When I go to buy toilet paper, right? Instead of just buying one package, I'll buy 2. What are the things that you use around the house? Buying my vinegar, right? I always keep vinegar on hand because vinegar works many, many wonders, right? Let me buy extra. And I think in just doing that, when we go to buy one, and maybe the one that you buy is you kind of get a pricier option of that. Maybe you can get a less pricier, maybe get store brand instead of name brand or something, so that you can afford to buy 2 of them instead of just one. Put one away. And let's try to do that every time. So every time we go, I'm out of, Windex. I don't know, whatever you use, right? That's the first thing that came to my mind. Buy 2 of them. We're out of, I get the barkeeper's friend, cleaner stuff. Let me buy 2 of them. We need toilet paper. Let me buy 2 of them. And then put one of those away. I feel like that helps to keep it very, very painless. Maybe you're just going to Dollar Tree and picking up some cleaners and household items. Buy 2 of them. Put one away. The same thing for what do you need, just personal items. My kiddos last night realized they were out of toothpaste. So guess what? When I go get them toothpaste today, I'm going to buy an extra one so that way one can get put up and away. I might buy 3 of them so that way I can have a backup one here in the house and one that's still on our prepared pantry. So that way we don't have, the debacle we had last night where we were up till 10 o'clock searching for toothpaste, realizing they were out and nobody noticed. So what do you need personally? Maybe it's your shampoos, it's your soaps, it's the things that you want to be using anyways, okay? I'm not saying go and buy like those emergency things, and usually they're so much more costly, not cost effective. I think we could do something more cost effective, like, again, buying in bulk. Maybe you get a really expensive shampoo and conditioner set. Maybe getting something a little bit cheaper, more cost effective, but being able to buy 2 of them could better serve you. Maybe it's just going to Dollar Tree and, we have to do that sometimes where guess what? We are Dollar Tree extraordinaires right now, and that's the soap and shampoo and stuff we're using. It's not my favorite, but it is what it is. And I'd much rather have something on hand than nothing on hand, because you bet, while we were dealing with no power, no water, no nothing during Hurricane Helene, I absolutely went down to my creek and bathed in the creek so I could wash my hair and get clean. I had a bucket outside of my house that I was using to be able to at least wash my face and do my skincare and brush my teeth, because I just hate feeling grungy and grimy and yucky. And so even with nothing, I found a way to do that. Yes, I want to have stuff on hand so that if even the whole world comes tumbling apart, I can clean myself and I can get myself taken care of. Same thing applies for like vitamins and medicines and, like itch relief cream and Band-Aids and, simple things like that that are good to have on hand. Have an antifungal cream, have an antibacterial cream, like have some of those core basic things on hand that you would be using, that you would need. Deodorants, dry shampoo, things like that, that you can just pick up one extra when you get whatever you need. Take $5 a week, take $10 a week, right? Whatever it might be, we can take this and take the things that we are already using and just get one extra. Pick up a couple cans, right? Do these little, small, intentional steps to start building up a prepared pantry. That's going to be a huge impact when all of a sudden the things that you like buying, you can't afford because the world's gone crazy. When a hurricane wipes out your interstate and there aren't things in the stores, right? You lose your job unexpectedly and all of a sudden your stream of income is gone. When iRobot comes to life and these creepy little things, I don't know, they're kind of neat. I saw one cook and I was like, I don't know, if I could have a robot that cooked me dinner every night, you might get me there, because then I'd be like, robot, you tell me what's for dinner. I don't want to play the what's for dinner game. I'm kidding. But when whatever happens, because again, it doesn't even have to be bad or scary. It's just common sense and being prepared. The hurricane was difficult. Things costing more stinks. I'm not scared of it. It is what it is. The world's going to be the world. What can I do to be responsible and have some pieces put together so that way when the mass impact comes like flooding down on us, I can still make ends meet. I can still get by. Because that's what I'm going for here, right? When the world's going to be the world, things are only going to get crazier. I don't see it where all of a sudden this like magical utopia just appears and everything's all hunky-dory. I think it's going to keep getting worse, to be honest. That doesn't scare me. That doesn't frighten me. My hope is in the Lord. I know where I'm going. I'm in His Word studying every day. I see what's to come. Okay, gotcha. I see my enemy. I know it. Okay, this world's going to keep doing what the world's doing. That's fine. I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. This world is not my home. And so what can I do to care for my family, taking the resources that the Lord entrusts to me, being a good steward, not trying to build up and hoard up my treasure here on earth, but being able to say, okay, Lord, you've entrusted this amount of resource to me. I can afford 5 cans of food that I can tuck back on my shelf so that when something happens, I have a resource, right? The ants, they get up, they work hard, they store up their food for winter. I can say, hey, I know these are the fruits and vegetables we eat. I can grow tomatoes. I can grow lettuce, right? Those are things that we use. I can do that. I can say, hey, I know that my kids need toothpaste. I'm out of shampoo and my husband needs deodorant. When I go to pick those things up at the store today, I'm going to pick up 2 of them and 3 of the toothpaste, and I'm going to put one aside. So that way, if we find ourselves in another Hurricane Helene situation, there's no panic there for me. I've got something here. If my neighbor needs something, I can be the first one to say, no worries, let me help you out. Hurricane Helene, it was amazing. When people started getting power back, it was so splotchy where people were getting power. People were sharing everywhere, hey, I got power. Who needs a shower? Who needs to come charge stuff? Come over to my house. It was beautiful. It was amazing. What can I do to be prepared so that when something happens, I'm not feeling that sense of panic? And I think these are practical, simple things that you and I can all start doing. I can buy one extra. I can buy something cheaper so that way I can afford to buy 2 of them. Every week when I pick up my groceries, I can easily add 5 cans of something on there. I can pop by, and if I see meat on sale, I can buy an extra pack, throw it in the freezer. And little things like that are going to add up and have a huge impact when the time comes. And I want to get to the point where I know I could go a week without having to bring anything in and I'd be okay. And then I'm going to do a little more so that way I know I could go a month without bringing anything in, and I could be okay. And I'm going to go a little more, so I can do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever, Lord willing, we can do. And I think we would all be wise to do this. But this is just my 2 cents. What do I know? Okay, this is what I am doing here. Maybe you've already been here and you are more experienced. Leave us comments down below. Let us know how we can learn from your example, right? Where are the areas you're struggling? Where are the areas that you're like, ooh, how do we do this? Would it be helpful to watch me literally go through the stores and do these exact steps? And how do we organize it and keep it and do all of this practically? How are we getting through with this inflation? We don't know how this whole tariff trade stuff is going to impact us yet. This is going to be a watch and see over the next few months. I have a feeling, though, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And I think that's fair. We didn't get into this mess in a night. We're not going to get out of it in a night. Okay. So I think there's fairness there. I don't want to panic. I'm not trying to hoard stuff up and go panic buy all the things, right? Like, I don't know. I live in the South. So anytime they say bad weather's coming, all the milk and bread disappears from the stores, so we always laugh and go, uh-oh, snow's coming, milky bread. Everybody pull it out. I'm not saying rush and panic. But I'm saying that we would be wise and we would be good stewards to take the resources that we're given and to put together a little bit of preparation for whatever it might be that's coming next. Because it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And I want to be able to care for my family and to still pour into my community to the best of my ability, because I've taken the Lord's resources, the wisdom that He's given us, and I've put it into action. And I want to be able to go and serve the Lord each and every day. And I think being able to do that from a place of peace and just ability is really, really important. So again, if you missed the video earlier this week about how to find that extra money, how to make that extra money, how to save that extra money, be sure you watch this video right up here. Subscribe, turn on your bell notifications if you would like to see more along these lines. I think we got a lot to talk about, and I am really, really excited to get to do that with you all here. Otherwise, I'll see you all right back here in the next video. Bye, friends.